Yes, we're live. Welcome to the Objective Opinion. Are we live? Welcome to the Objective Opinion with JERMZ, and we're going to go down the rabbit hole with Charlie Kirk. So let's just hear what Trump's saying first, and we're going to go down the grapevine.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and three others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Why wouldn't he see him? Why wouldn't he see the person who's in the chat?
If I really like your answer, you get a hat. We'll be signing hats as well, and God bless you guys. We're going to have a great time. Thank you. Okay, hello, yes.
Hello, my name is Yardo. I have a small YouTube channel. I'm a political commentator as well, much smaller than you are. I just wanted to thank everybody at Turning Point USA, USD for having this debate, and also I would thank the Turning Point USA, San Diego State, because they gave a voice to one of my dear friends who was a victim at the October 7th Nova Music Festival, and his name is Amit Muzai. I really appreciate that you guys did that, and you have my sincere gratitude. I'd also like to quickly state that this is a message for the far left first, and then we'll get into what I highly disagree with you about. But I just read Hassan Piker's New York Times article where he claims that he did not stifle free speech in his chat. I do not believe that's true because I was banned multiple times for having a simple disagreement with him. That is one thing on the right that you guys do far better, is not creating echo chambers, and this is a complete amazing thing that you guys are doing right now. And I just want to let you know, right now, Hassan Piker, I will donate $5,000 to Palestine if you debate me. Now, and I 100% mean that, and I will make sure that that is as public as possible. My question for you, Charlie, is I just want to make it clear, I am against affirmative action. Of course, I do not believe, as a disabled person myself, I do not believe that affirmative action is the entirety of what DEI entails. That being said, I would be fine with DEI gotten rid of if it meant a true meritocracy in the United States. But why would I trust Donald Trump to create a meritocracy when he himself has appointed the least accomplished and the least, essentially, yeah, perfect word, the least accomplished cabinet in U.S. history, at least in my opinion. If you disagree, I can explain why I feel that way.
Well, first of all, one thing doesn't have to do with the other, but I'm going to reject the premise that it's the least qualified cabinet ever, so we could talk about that. But even if it was just Donald Trump picking his family members, it has nothing to do with the merits of DEI or getting rid of DEI, right? So that's a red herring. They actually have nothing one to do with the other. One's a repeal of a policy. One is your critique of a cabinet. So which one would you rather debate? Would you rather debate DEI and all of its implications or Trump's cabinet? It seems like you have more problems with Trump's cabinet because we actually might be on the same side of meritocracy. So want to talk about the cabinet? Whichever you prefer.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Right.
I personally don't see it as a red herring, but we can talk about that.
Well,
sure.
yeah, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, right? I mean, you can personally have hypocrisy in your own life and still do really good things in policy, right? It doesn't necessarily equate, right?
Well, I mean, in the way that I see it is that when a lot of people talk about, like when they're talking about their choice to vote for Kamala or Trump instead of Kamala, they talk about the personal aspects of Donald Trump that make them want to trust him, right? A lot of people trust him. You can see the way that people look. I mean, everybody's wearing the MAGA hats. People trust him. Why would I trust him?
Okay. So yeah, that is your contention. So
yeah.
What about his cabinet is unqualified? Let me just ask you a couple examples. So, I mean, Scott Bessent, who's one of the most accomplished bond salesmen and individuals in the hedge fund space ever, right? That's not unqualified. Pete Hegseth, who's actually a frontline warfighter, unlike Lloyd Austin, who never fought a war in his life, right? We have Kristi Noem, who was an accomplished congresswoman and governor from a major state running Department of Homeland Security. You have Howard Lutnick, who's a very famous and well-known financial mind and titan from Wall Street running Cantor Fitzgerald. Marco Rubio, who was a very well-respected U.S. Senator on Foreign Affairs, who's now doing a great job as Secretary of State. So build out your argument why you think this cabinet is unqualified. Seems to me very, very qualified, actually, across the board.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with, I mean, this is the most obvious one, and I have many other examples that I'd like to get into, but Pete Hegseth, you mentioned, I think that is kind of, I don't really understand why you would mention somebody that leaked war chats to a liberal journalist. To me, that doesn't seem like the kind of person that I would want to be.
Well, hold on, time out. He did not leak it, first of all.
He added the person to the chat.
Who actually is responsible was just removed as National Security Advisor today.
Oh, you mean the person who was the fall guy for Pete Hegseth's problem?
No, he added...
All right, if you're just joining us, Charlie Kirk, American icon, my friend, dead tonight at 31. He was assassinated while speaking to kids, young people, at a college campus event at Utah Valley University. Holy Here with me is Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, Fox News contributor. Jason's been with Fox most of the day because Jason was there today. Jason, I know you've told different versions of this, but very specifically, and I know how incredibly devastated you are, that goes without saying, but tell us exactly what happened leading up to the gunshots.
There were 2,000 plus people there to hear Charlie Kirk and talk and take questions from anybody and everybody. And straight up at noon, he came out, was throwing hats to everybody. Prior to him stepping out, they were chanting USA, USA. Another chants were Charlie Kirk, Charlie USA. Kirk. They were chanting that. I'd venture to say 95+% of the people were younger than the age of 30. And they were ready there for some dialogue. And there's a group in this shot right there. Those people closest to you up on that second level, that's where they had a transgender flag. And Charlie leaned over and invited him, hey, come be part of the conversation. And, the crowd cheered. But the first person got up and asked a question about religion. And he went way out of his way to a predominantly, we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, predominantly, not everybody, the Mormons, if you will. And he said, look, I'm not here to bash on people. I'm on my own spiritual journey. I want you to be on your spiritual journey. I'm not here to bash LDS people. This is who I believe. And the first speaker disagreed with him, and he bantered with him. The second person, Laura, came up and said, I have a question about transgender shooters, mass shooters. And before they even started that dialogue, the shot rang out. I saw Charlie, fall back to his left, and the crowd hit the ground. You heard screams, and then people started running. And some of those shots, one's on foxnews.com, I can see myself in the background of that shot, that's the picture at the event. And it was just horrific. It was just so devastating. And I have every emotion. I'm mad because I want to know who the shooter is. I want people to understand there's true evil that needs to be rooted out. But I also want them to know there's pure good. That my kids, people in our family who are in their 20s, they were excited to meet two people. I meet a lot of people. I'm on television. I'm a former congressman.
Yeah.
There's two people in the world they want to meet. Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, my son Nico was same thing. They wanted to meet Charlie. Yeah. That's just what they were looking forward to, and those young people.
Yeah.
What was security like, to the extent there was security, getting into the area where he was speaking?
0 to none. Right above where Charlie was speaking, there was an awning. And people had gathered above that, and they pushed him off to the side. There were a couple people in police, wearing, uniformed police. Charlie has his own detail, but look, you got 3,000 people, and there's a couple of people with Charlie's personal security detail. But again, we're talking a handful of 2 or 3 people. And so, no, look, it's an open campus. This is Utah, for goodness sake. These things don't happen. We don't have shootings. I mean, we do, but come on. This is our state's largest university, 40,000 students. It's an open atmosphere, but I worry that the days of true dialogue, they're getting shut down. And I think that's what the evil left, if you will,
right. They want
people,
this.
the evil, they want to shut it down because he
Jason,
is so effective.
Yeah, they wanted to shut him down because he was so effective, but they also want to stop political or even cultural speakers from going to campus. And what they're going to say is it's a liability risk for the university. We can't do it. We can't guarantee security. So then the students miss out on actually engaging with individuals. Maybe they'll be liberals. Maybe they'll be conservatives. Charlie obviously was a strong conservative, strong Christian. But that's what they want to happen. And unfortunately, I believe this will drive a lot of colleges and universities to say, no, we can't secure this. Can't do it. Yeah. That's what I fear. And Jason, when you saw Charlie fall back, and I had a chance to talk to someone else who was there, and you know who I'm talking about, said, I knew he was gone. And inconsolable.
It was too close. I mean, that shot had to come from close. Some people are saying, oh, now it might be a rooftop. That's not a far shot. Law enforcement saying it might be 200 yards. I doubt it's even that long. And anybody with a rifle, in a prone position if that's truly what happened. Law enforcement's been scant with information, but it just worked because there was, like I said, no security. That's the way it should be, but unfortunately in today's world, there's evil. There's evil.
Jason, thank you so much. I know what a day this has been for you, and we really, really appreciate your voice. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hot
All right, if you're just joining us, Charlie Kirk, American icon, my friend, dead tonight at 31. He was assassinated while speaking to kids, young people, at a college campus event at Utah Valley University. Here with me is Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, Fox News contributor. Jason's been with Fox most of the day because Jason was there today. Jason, I know you've told different versions of this, but very specifically, and I know how incredibly devastated you are, that goes without saying, but tell us exactly what happened leading up to the gunshots.
There were 2,000 plus people there to hear Charlie Kirk and talk and take questions from anybody and everybody. And straight up at noon, he came out, was throwing hats to everybody. Prior to him stepping out, they were chanting USA, USA. Another chants were Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk. They were chanting that. I'd venture to say 95+% of the people were younger than the age of 30. And they were ready there for some dialogue. And there's a group in this shot right there. Those people closest to you up on that second level, that's where they had a transgender flag. And Charlie leaned over and invited him, hey, come be part of the conversation. And, the crowd cheered. But the first person got up and asked a question about religion. And he went way out of his way to a predominantly, we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, predominantly, not everybody, the Mormons, if you will. And he said, look, I'm not here to bash on people. I'm on my own spiritual journey. I want you to be on your spiritual journey. I'm not here to bash LDS people. This is who I believe. And the first speaker disagreed with him, and he bantered with him. The second person, Laura, came up and said, I have a question about transgender shooters, mass shooters. And before they even started that dialogue, the shot rang out. I saw Charlie, fall back to his left, and the crowd hit the ground. You heard screams, and then people started running. And some of those shots, one's on foxnews.com, I can see myself in the background of that shot, that's the picture at the event. And it was just horrific. It was just so devastating. And I have every emotion. I'm mad because I want to know.
Lots of buildings nearby, plenty of people in the audience.
To make sure that it's safe.
Yeah. So you have an individual like this who's a private individual. He is well known, well respected, and at the same
Folks, we're in a spiritual battle. Right now, all across the globe, our Christian brothers and
somebody without his knowledge, but fine.
Okay, so why wouldn't he see him?
Now, this is actually, let's start with this new statement from Utah Valley University. We had a speaker, Charlie Kirk, invited by a student group, Turning Point USA, speaking on campus today at noon. At about 12:20, shots were fired from a building about 200 yards from the speaker. Now, this is new. According to the best of our knowledge, the individual was hit and was taken away immediately by his security personnel. That individual, of course, is Charlie Kirk. Campus is closed for the rest of the day, and our campus police have a suspect in custody. So that is new information. 200 from a building, 200 yards from the shooter is the newest information from the university, and obviously the investigation is just beginning in all of this. Joining me now by phone, Fox News, Fox and Friends weekend co-host Charlie Hurt. He co-hosted the show with Charlie Kirk just a few weeks ago here in New York, and is a friend, someone who knows him well. Charlie, welcome.
Indeed, Martha. I count him as a very, very good friend, and I am absolutely shocked. And obviously, as you and all of your coverage so far have pointed out, this is just absolutely heartbreaking. And our prayers go out to Charlie and his beautiful family. It was just about an hour ago, actually. I was on the phone with Jason talking about other things. Jason Chaffetz talking about other things, and he told me that he was there waiting for Charlie Kirk, and said there like 2,000 people have gathered on this beautiful day just to hear Charlie Kirk speak. And the description he gave was so beautiful. I asked him to send a picture of it to me, and he took a picture and sent it to me, and I showed it to my wife. We were driving somewhere, and I said, this is the kind of crowd that Charlie Kirk brings on a college campus. And as Jackie was just pointing out, Charlie is the best of America. Charlie is the kind of guy that likes to talk, likes to engage with people, and engage with people who aren't normally as active in politics as they should be or might be. And he's done it so brilliantly. And he is the best of what we have to offer. And the idea that something like this would happen to him, the reason our country works is because of people like Charlie Kirk. And the only way our country doesn't work is when people resort to violence in order to silence people like Charlie Kirk. And so right now I am praying for Charlie and his beautiful family, and I'm praying for our country too.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about the impact of Turning Point on the last elections. And, we've seen the youth vote, young men in particular, really migrate over the past 10 years towards President Trump and towards conservatism on American campuses. So talk to us about that, Charlie.
And I think a lot of it has also to do with the idea that there was so much, especially on college campuses, that you're not allowed to talk about, and that there is so much indoctrination on college campuses today. And Charlie Kirk recognized that. He recognized it very early. And he recognized that he recognized it in a very personal way too, which is why he quit college. He spent enough time in college to realize that this was indoctrination. He wasn't like learning the great things you're supposed to learn when you go to college, and so he quit. And I've always admired that so much about him, that he walked away from college because he recognized how we shouldn't say this about every teacher out there and every college out there, but for the vast majority of these places, it is about indoctrination today. And he recognized that, and he walked away from it. And he also recognized an opportunity as a young man. I mean, he was like 18 when he started to recognize the importance of actually reaching those students who were like, who had been sort of shunted to the side in this indoctrination effort. And he talked to them in a very mature way, the way if you're going to have a democracy, if you're going to have a country, a republic, where we are self-governed, you have to have people who are informed, and you have to have people who are educated and people who can have debates. And Charlie met them at that spot, and he did it better than anybody I've ever known. And he reached them, and because he treated them as grown-ups, as intelligent people, and talked about the things that a lot of college professors didn't want them talking about, he reached them in a very powerful way. And that's why come 2024, in the last election, I would say that there's probably no person outside of President Trump himself who was more important at helping President Trump reach those people he needed to win re-election. I don't think there was anybody who was more important than Charlie Kirk was, and it was all because he believes in debate, and he believes in engaging people in the democratic process, which is what we're all about.
Well said. Charlie, thank you very
Chris
much.
Cuomo here. Thank you for being with News
Sean
Nation.
Hannity here. Hey,
moments like this matter. Charlie Kirk murdered at a university in Utah, doing what he thought was part of the solution. President Trump first announced his death and ordered flags half-staff. FBI Director Kash Patel just announced that they have a suspect in custody. There's some question about whether or not it's a person of interest or a suspect. We're going to know who did this. We're going to know why. And I don't even know that part really matters, and we'll talk about that. But I knew Charlie Kirk. I saw sides of him that were not his public persona. You know him as a digital big shot who helped organize young voters for President Trump and really helped get him elected, which made him a hero to some and a devil to others. But Turning Point USA made a difference. And then Charlie did something really special. He started going around the country telling students to prove him wrong. And he made debate and disagreeing without being disagreeable cool again.
Black applicants to jobs are 50% less likely to get jobs with they have a black-sounding name. That's not even close to being true. That's not even close to being true. That is a literal. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm not going to argue your lived experience. I'm not going to know. See, now you have to listen to him under your rules because a black person is going to say you're wrong.
I totally sympathize. That's not true. It's never the only choice to commit a crime. And we should not put up with it. And so it is an insult to other immigrants from Vietnam and Laos and Pakistan that have to wait decades in line to morally equivalate people that come in and just break in. Oh, I have an unstable country. Like half of the world's countries are unstable.
You know, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe he's gone. I don't even know what to do with it. That he was murdered at one of the events that he thought was part of the solution, and I agreed with him. I didn't agree with his politics or a lot of the positions, but so what? Killed for his ideas? For his feelings about trans or Trump or Israel? Was the shooter a lefty or crazy or both? Well, no. There is no advantage in this, and I know some want there to be. I know some want this to be proof of something that they think is helpful to their cause. But to me, all I see is a kid. And to me, for all Charlie achieved, personally and professionally, he was only 31 years old. He and his beautiful wife, they were just starting a family. They have 2 little babies. And that's all I think. That's all I see. Is that I can't believe he's gone for this. And yet, everything in my head tells my heart, wake up. Wake up. This is who we are. This is where we are. And going to this group tonight, all the security concerns, my representatives worried about what kind of security I'm going to have and where are the threats and should we take all these threats we've been getting more seriously. The president said the right thing, did the right thing with the flag, in my opinion. Democratic lawmakers, Jews, kids, our president, everybody's getting shot at. This is what we're doing. This is how we express ourselves. I know everyone is saying the right things. We need to come together. I don't know that we're not accelerating in the opposite direction. I hear people on the right saying, avenge him. And some on the left saying, this is what you get. We're not battling over ideas anymore. We're cheap and we're ugly. We've reduced conflict to enemies and animus. I think there's a better chance that we see more of this than less of it. And God, I hope I'm wrong. Charlie and I agreed on what matters most. And I'm not talking about on the personal level. Charlie was about his faith in his family. And for a young man, I was really impressed by it. Again, I did not agree with most of his political positions, but it didn't make me see him as an enemy. He was a sweet, tall, sensitive, kind person. That is how I experienced him. And that dividing for advantage, going all in on who and what is worse, it's killing our society. And that's what brought us together. And we went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. And that's why Patrick and I have made an alliance, is to show that you do not have to agree to get along. What matters is how you disagree. Did you see this?
I mean, don't fault Charlie for campaigning and believing in Trump. I don't. I think it's very healthy for the democracy.
I don't really care what Chris Cuomo's politics are. I think that it takes someone who loves truth to go to the DNC and remind the viewers that all those boxes up there are bought by corporate titans. I thought that was really good. And look, I think that I don't know Chris very well, but it seems as if Chris has a knack to actually do what journalists used to do, increasingly so.
Now, did Charlie get heat after that? Yeah, we joked about it. You were off today, Charlie. You know, like it was a game. Like he didn't have his fastball. And we texted and we spoke after it. We wanted to do more. And again, Charlie was what you saw in that. And I think it was part of the solution in our politics. It doesn't matter. Look, I thought his feelings about how his faith manifests in different political policies and culture things, I can't even believe I'm saying it right now because it's like, so what? So what? That he thought whatever he did that you don't like. So what? And then I turn to what Charlie may have left us that I didn't value until now. Charlie had millions, okay? Not thousands, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, millions of young followers online, okay? Motivated. And he got them involved in something that young people rightly suspect and usually hate, politics. I hope the young people who saw Charlie as a hero or as a zero, but you knew he was relevant, he was making you think and come up with arguments to defend or defeat his propositions. Please see what's happening around you. Please see what was lost in this. This young man, the head of a young family, so much in front of him. This is not who we are. I shouldn't have my kids coming to me about this, afraid that I don't wear a bulletproof vest. Afraid that what I do is dangerous. Is that what this murder means? That we have to start being careful about what we say? Judging by the responses, I don't know. The comments from leaders seem to me at best perfunctory. Vile political violence, no place. I mean, that's what you say because that's what you're supposed to say, right? That's not what you say when you're really trying to persuade something of somebody. And I'm not blaming these guys. There's too much blame to go around. And, you know, I see Musk putting out stupid things and the idea of avenging this and the party that left him. I mean, look, I know he's autistic, okay? I know a lot of autistic people. I don't know that it's an excuse for every stupid thing that the guy says. You know, I don't know what motivates this. Neither did Charlie, by the way. All I know is this is who we are right now. And if we want to be something different, if we want to be a different way, it's got to be with each of us. It's got to be with each of you. Get out of being a part of any group, any them, and just act on what you think is right. And you know that what happened here is so wrong. You know, we've seen killers on both sides. We've seen so much of it. I bet you can't remember the last 3. Think about that. The last 3 political murders. In June, we had this right-wing nut job dressed as a cop, shot and critically injured a Democratic Minnesota state senator, Hoffman and his wife. He then went on to fatally shoot the top Democrat Minnesota lawmaker in the House, Representative Melissa Hortman. Did you remember that? Her and her husband? Remember Pelosi's husband getting bashed? Police found a hit list with that Minnesota guy. The Israeli embassy. Do you remember that one? The staffers? The pro-Palestinian Latino guy who wound up just waiting for the cops to come? Pacing the Jewish museum? Killing 2 people who he thought were Jews? Do you even remember that? Can you remember that? We forget so fast. Why? 2 reasons. It's become very familiar, but also because we are not committed to anything better except advantage. Do you remember what happened to Governor Josh Shapiro? Remember that? A left-wing anti-Israel lunatic. So who's that one? You know, what side wins there? Well, he attacked a Democrat, so it's bad for the right. Oh, but this guy's anti-Israel, and that's a far left thing, so it's good for the right. Is that who we are? Is that where we are? So I don't know what to say to you about the virtue that we must reclaim. All I know is that I hope we don't forget. And we have 9/11 tomorrow, and boy, have we forgotten. We have forgotten who can be our enemy, what is our enemy, and what it takes for us to come together and survive. But I don't think Charlie will be forgotten. I'll end on this. I don't think Charlie Kirk is going to be forgotten anytime soon, and I really hope people don't let him and what he was about at his best be forgotten. All I know is I am so sad about what happened. It is such a shame. It is such a waste. It makes nothing and no one better. And all I know is that I get to decide what to think about it and what to do after it. And I am going to keep showing up. I don't care about the threats, because I believe that the value here is in using the platform as long as I have it to try to get us to a better place. It is not about agreeing or disagreeing. It is about how we disagree and how we prosecute the case for what we want America to be. And we are not getting it done. If this fight is not over ideas, it is lost before it begins. I am so sorry for the Kirk family. If there is anything that we can do as you guys go forward and decide how you want Charlie remembered, just let us know. Thank you for watching.
Mercury and hashtag 039, SMS says. Don't serve the government. Peaceful says. According to Kirk, his death is worth the Second Amendment. He was thinking about black people shooting each other. He never once thought he would be referring to himself. Richie X says. You and your people. MISS says. Pat O'Connell yep. Southern Renegade says. Jesus want all people to be saved. He don't reject gender or gay people. He want them to believe. Tata Owo says. Demonstration of crazy demonstration democracy. Anil Rajpal says. Qatar, which hosts the U.SS most important air base in the region, condemned the attack. Lucider says. Never thought something like this would happen at one of his events. RIP Charlie.
As the perimeter is growing, because
today in Utah, please welcome everybody, Michael Mariano. Thanks so much.
Please step it up.
And Scott, I also want to get your take on really, it was jarring communication. Like you could have an opinion anymore, because if someone doesn't like your opinion, they're going to try to find where you're at and want to kill you if you're big enough, if you're an influencer, it seems.
Yeah, certainly. You know, this is a political assassination and a political hate crime, but in the same sense, it's not political at all. You know, we here in Utah, we here in America are all grieving. You know, we're all grieving. So now is the time to think about what we say and how we say it. Because if we don't take a moment to stop and suspend our judgment, instead of focus on unity, we're going to keep going in this conflict of irrational responding when we're projecting. You know, we're projecting our disbelief and our hurt and our anger, and even you know, maybe some people's happiness, which is disgusting to say. But you know, we need to take a minute and we need to suspend judgment, and we need to focus on the shared humanity in this. And so our response, and my response, is to, you know, take a moment to process my emotions instead of responding out of shock or anger. And yet, we need to understand everyone suffered a loss here, no matter what side you're on. This isn't just political. This is humane. And it is scary that we're killed.
Still at large, the manhunt continues for that shooter. Once we get more information, we'll pass that along to you. In the meantime, I do want to bring in our next guest. He was a witness to this terrible shooting today in Utah. Please welcome everybody, Michael Mariano. Thanks so much for being.
We're about to call it a night. This was like a warm-up live stream, one of many to come, from Objective Opinions with JERMZ, and your objective opinion is also welcome. Peace. We're bringing back common sense back. Have a good night.